There has never been a better year for the Los Angeles Chargers to go win the Super Bowl, and I absolutely love what they are building in Los Angeles. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the grand outline for the Los Angeles Chargers. This is what they've been building for the last few years, and we're finally seeing it all come together. The Chargers are now 3-0 for the first time in over 20 plus years. They look unbelievable, and I was thinking to myself last night after the game, after they came back, beat the Broncos. They started strong. Broncos had 17 unanswered points. The Chargers seemed like they were going to give this one away, but the offense came through huge at the very end of the game. The defense also came through, as a matter of fact. They also came through in a big-time way, got some stops, got the ball back for Herbert and company. And if you give the ball to number 10, he's going to make things happen, and that's exactly what he did. But I was thinking to myself after the game, I was like, man, I don't know where this Chargers team legitimately has a flaw, because they are so good everywhere. Now, last year, in year one, in the Jim Harbaugh era, I was like, okay, they could run the ball at a really high level, but they didn't necessarily have the best running backs in the world. So they upgraded that. They went out and got Najee Harris. They obviously drafted Omari and Hampton in the first round of the draft. I always felt like Justin Herbert was a top-end quarterback, but a lot of people were kind of out on him after his really bad game in the playoffs last year. But everybody knew that he was still a good quarterback, but to what degree? Can he be a guy that wins you a Super Bowl because he's Justin Herbert? And in my opinion, I always felt like he could. I wasn't giving up on him. It's just so early on to really write a guy off or not, in my opinion. So I was still very high on Justin Herbert. You looked at the wide receiving core. That was a major point of concern, in my opinion. They didn't have enough guys that could actually win off the line of scrimmage, that could be legit threats for Justin Herbert. You saw Ladd McConkey was a rookie wide receiver last year who had over 1,000 receiving yards. He was an unbelievable talent. He was coming back, but I felt the Chargers did a really good job of going out and getting Keenan Allen, drafting Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. But I still had a little bit of concern about this receiving core. The offensive line was obviously great last year. They lose Rashad Slater coming into this season, and obviously the defense was one of the best in football last year, led by Jesse Minter. So I had a few question marks coming into this season. It was, how would the offensive line hold up without Rashad Slater? Obviously, you took Joe Alt, and he's just been a superstar player. And the second one that I had was, what was this receiving core going to look like? And as of right now, I have the answer to everything I once wondered about this Los Angeles Chargers team. I think they're so deep. I think they're so versatile. They can win in a multitude of ways. And this is the best version of Justin Herbert that we have ever seen. And this is what Los Angeles Chargers have been envisioning for years now. They've been envisioning Justin Herbert in a situation where he can go win championships, where he can be the guy in the AFC West, where he can be one of the top guys in the AFC in general, where he can compete with Josh Allen, where he can go up with Patrick Mahomes, where he can contend with a Joe Burrow and with a Lamar Jackson. But he's never been in that conversation. Throughout his career, he's always had the upside of being in that conversation, but he's never been in that actual convo because of the lack of success the Los Angeles Chargers have had throughout Justin Herbert's career. But now it feels like everything is coming together for the Chargers. Ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely a team right now that can go win the Super Bowl. I love the way this team can run the football right now. It was questionable after week 2. People were wondering, well, Omari and Hampton's going to have to be a lot better. And he looked really good against the Broncos. The Broncos have one of the best run defenses in football. And Justin Herbert, I have just been thrilled with his performance right now. He's right now the third leading candidate to be the MVP as of right now. And he's just been absolutely dominant, over 860 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 pick. That was kind of a fluky pick yesterday too. That was his first of the season, but he's looked unbelievable. This is the best version of Justin Herbert that we're seeing. Now, the offensive line definitely helps out and is playing into it. When I watched that Raiders game on Monday Night Football last week, I honestly felt like I was watching a different game. That offensive line was so dominant. They were giving him so much time. And when you give Herbert that much time, he can make any throw on the football field. And as of right now, this receiving core looks great as well. Like, Quentin Johnston all of a sudden has unlocked this first-round talent that he was originally taken as. Quentin Johnston has played some awesome football. He really is not struggling with the drop problems anymore. He's 6th in total receiving yards in the NFL. He's tied for the 3rd most touchdowns in the NFL. He's averaging over 17 yards a catch. Quentin Johnston, ladies and gentlemen, if he can play like this throughout the entirety of the season, this Chargers receiving core all of a sudden is really scary. You still got Ladd McConkey, who I mentioned had over 1,000 yards last year, who is an unbelievable receiver. He is still so good. He had that massive catch on second down when they were going to win the game against Pat Surtain, and he just can create so much separation. He's so slippery, so sneaky, but he is such an effective receiver. And then Keenan Allen, he's kind of like the cherry on top. You had that massive touchdown reception where Herbert just had that ridiculous play outside of the pocket, but Keenan Allen, he's still such a reliable receiver. And when you've got all three of those guys, this does make a really, really nice receiving core. And that's why I'm so confident and so optimistic that this Chargers team can put everything together. They can run the football. They've got Omari and Hampton. I'm not sure the severity right now of Najee Harris's injury yesterday. Didn't look great. It was a non-contact injury, but you've got Omari and Hampton, who is a tremendous running back who you took in the first round out of North Carolina with really, really high hopes for. You've obviously got one of the best offensive lines in football with or without Rashawn Slater. I still believe they are one of the best without Rashawn Slater. Such a bummer they do not have him. You've got a tremendous receiving core. I would make the argument that this receiving core, if Quentin Johnston can keep it up, might be top 10 in football with two really, really good receivers on the outside in QJ and Ladd McConkey. And you've got a top 5 quarterback in football in Justin Herbert, who now has been able to put it all together. The Jim Harbaugh culture, the Jim Harbaugh swag, it's all there. It is all there for this offense, and we've never seen it like this in the past. And this is one of the best defenses in football too, led by Jesse Minter, who's probably going to be a head coach one day. This team is so well versed, and I genuinely don't know where they have a true gap or hole on this team. I'd like to see them run the football a little bit better. That's really my only critique. But as of right now, the Chargers are in an amazing position, ladies and gentlemen. This team is not only 3-0, they are 3-0 against the AFC West. What type of opening schedule was this for the Chargers? They play the Chiefs in Brazil. They kind of got ramrodded on this one because they counted this as a home game, even though they had to go to Brazil. I'd be pretty upset if I were the Chargers, knowing that, hey, a Brazil game is a home game. That's kind of whack, in my opinion. They take care of business against the Chiefs. They go on the road on Monday Night Football against the Raiders, take care of business, and then they just beat the Denver Broncos, have an incredible comeback win. They're down 3-0. They're also 3-0 in the AFC West, 3-0 within the conference. These are all going to be massive when you look at the Chargers coming down the stretch to try and get home field advantage. That's what you've got to be thinking about right now, because in the AFC, it's truly so tough to get through some of these top tier teams. Nobody wants to go through Arrowhead. And the good news is for the Chargers, they not only have the head-to-head win, but the Chiefs are 1-2, and they look, like a shell of themselves without their top 2 receivers. So we'll see what they look like here in a few weeks once they get everybody back. But they're 3-0. Chiefs are 1-2. You've got the Bills right now who are 3-0. They look like an absolute buzzsaw. We'll see how things kind of come down the stretch there. That's going to be a tough one. And then you've got the Ravens ultimately. The Ravens are 2-1. They're going to be a really, really good football team, but we've still got a long ways to go. I'm looking at the Los Angeles Chargers, ladies and gentlemen, is not only as a team that can go get the number 1 seed in the AFC. Great. You can win games in the regular season all you want. I think a lot of people have a similar narrative around maybe the Bills, maybe the Ravens, maybe the Chargers. Like, yeah, this team's going to be able to win games in the regular season, but what can they do when the postseason comes around? I'm so bullish on this Chargers team, and I truly believe they can beat anyone in the AFC at this point. It always felt like it was kind of a 3-horse race in the AFC. It always felt like it was the Bills, Ravens, and the Chiefs, and ultimately it was the Chiefs who would pull away and cross the finish line before everybody else. But I feel like it's now a 4-horse race in the AFC with the Chargers now entering that conversation. They've got a quarterback who is just as good as every other quarterback in that race. In my opinion, he can be that good. They've got a tremendous team. They're well versed. You've got Jim Harbaugh, who is the reason why this team is all the way back right now, in my opinion. I love what the Los Angeles Chargers are building, and I believe that they're going to be a really, really good team this year, and nobody's going to want to see them when the postseason rolls around. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Caden Kubler, and thank you guys so much for watching.